Once again, what a great blessing to have all of you here today. Those who are praying with us for the first time, on behalf of Father Cesar, Father Jorge, Deacon Luis, Luisa, our staff that's here, all of our many volunteers and catechists, we're so honored to have you here today. And please excuse me before I start my homily. It's a little different type of homily today, so I'm asking for your forgiveness before I start. Some things are just meant to be. Some things are just meant to be. You see, the 1830s was a decade of incredible growth for our loved city of Paterson. In 1831, the Morris Canal finally opened and flowed through our city. In 1832, the Paterson-Hudson Rail Line finally opened. In 1836, Samuel Colt, right down the hill, began to manufacture his repeating revolver. In 1837, John Rogers began to manufacture the locomotive called the Sandusky. And in 1938, Christopher Colt opened the very first silk weaving company that would lead Paterson to be known as the silk capital of the world. Now, no matter how important these moments were, and they were for the history of our loved city, there was something that happened, though, in September of 1835, right across Main Street on Little Oliver Street, that was to have a more lasting impact on lives, the church, and the world than all of those other innovations. For you see, quietly, in the autumn of 1835, Father Patrick Duffy, the pastor of our beloved St. John's Parish, it wasn't a cathedral then, opened the very first parochial school in the state of New Jersey. I don't know if you realize that, but we had the very first Catholic school in the state of New Jersey was right here, St. John the Baptist on Little Oliver Street. Now, the canal and the railroad are long gone. The silk mills, unfortunately, Mayor, are closed. But the legacy established by Father Duffy 186 years ago, it continues on, and it continues to make its all-important contribution to the life of our city, the church, and the world. Now you might think to yourselves, well, how can this be since St. John's School on Little Oliver Street closed its doors in 1992? We know it because of you who are here today. You are living proof of the great legacy of St. John's School, that you've gathered here today in prayer, in worship. What a joy to have you. But you see, in a minute, you're going to realize how providential, and I would be remiss to say even miraculous, that you're here this Sunday, that Jim, we planned 2 years ago before COVID. I've delighted in hearing your stories at our meetings, although they went on and on and on. Sister Maureen, I got to tell you, they got some stories about you. Father Jack, Carol, oh my goodness. And it's a good thing Monsignor Bristol's with God in heaven, all right? But it's wonderful to have you back together. First time in many years. Now, my friends, since my arrival at St. John's in the summer of 2018, I've been dreaming of how we can open a new school, one that would be free for our families, that would go on for longer than 186 years. And I found my answer when I walked into the Brilla Public Charter School in the South Bronx. A friend of mine, Tony DiNicola, told me about an organization called the Seton Education Partners, a group of wonderful Catholics who founded the Brilla Public School in the Bronx. And then Cardinal Dolan told me that I had to see it as well. When I walked into the school, I had never experienced anything like it in any other school I've been at, even DePaul Catholic High School, where I spent 7 wonderful years. The children were different. The atmosphere was different. And all I could attribute it to is this. When I was driving back to Patterson, I thought, those children knew they were blessed. They knew that they were blessed. No matter the circumstances, the poverty, the brokenness they live with. Well, my friends, God is indeed so good to us. After almost 3 years of dreaming and fighting the state to open our own Brilla Patterson, our own public charter school, here on what we lovingly call our Block of Mercy, on this past Thursday at 5:30 in the evening, we received word that the New Jersey Department of Education and Governor Murphy signed our charter application. Woo! That's why it's so special you're here today. What a gift our school will be to our children, to our families, our beloved St. John's, and to our beloved city of Patterson. The school that we will open will provide Patterson children with the finest classical education. It's not a Catholic school, but it's a virtue-based education. A virtue-based education with an optional after-school catechetical program. I look forward to explaining more of the details with you in the months to come. But for now, I just want to bask with you all in the question, why are we doing this? And the question, how have we achieved it? And you see, the answers lie in the very words of the psalmist that Louisa sang so beautifully. May the Lord bless us all the days of our lives. May the Lord bless us all the days of our lives. You see, the psalmist urges and pleads with God to bless us, bless the people. He doesn't plead for God, make them all happy. No. Very different word. He says, make them blessed. You see, it's impossible to be happy all the time unless you are a sociopath. Though it's not impossible to be blessed all the time. And being blessed is God's answer to our greatest longing. Everyone seeks it, but unfortunately not everybody finds it. To find it, we have to avoid falling into the trap of replacing the word blessed with happiness. You know, all the time, I want to be happy, I want to be happy. See, for 3 reasons. Happiness is a feeling, it's subjective. Happiness is only temporary, it's always fleeting, it never lasts. And also, happiness is dependent on chance or fortune. In fact, the word happiness, the base of it, hap, comes from the Old English, meaning by chance. But you see, blessedness, on the other hand, is different. It's objective, it's not a feeling. It's permanent, it's not fleeting. And it's dependent not on chance, but on God's grace and our response to that grace. My friends, the Lord knows how much we need to be blessed. Knowing this, what was the first thing that God did after He created men and women? He blessed them. He blessed us. And what does that mean? He spoke well of us. That's what the word blessing means, to speak well of. And this is why we are opening Brilla Patterson here on our Block of Mercy. For you see, education is not all about the classes and the curriculum. as important as those things are, but what is equally important, and I would even dare say more important, is the environment and the way we engage with the children. This Brilla education will be an engagement and an environment, I promise you, in which each child will hear echoed loud and clear that he or she is good, for they have been made in the image and likeness of God. That no child, no matter their life circumstance, will ever have to doubt that he or she is blessed and blessing. How beautiful in Spanish the word brilla means bright, luminous. That's what the children will come to believe when they will be in this school. Now, while this is the why, as to the how, well, that's simple. A few years ago, a couple courageous men and women went to the powers that be in the state of New Jersey and said and told them what blessings the children of Patterson are. And by doing so, these few people became blessings to children they never ever met. There's one person in particular. I didn't know her. A friend introduced me to her. Tiffany Bolin, who's here today. Tiffany went to bat for the children of Patterson like no one I've ever met. Tiff, if I'm ever in a foxhole, I want you with me, my friend. Week in, week out, my texts, my late night calls, she said, "Trust me, Monsignor, I got this." And I said, "I trust you, but I just want to verify." I thank you for your patience with me, for your love for the children of Patterson. And you're a proud Pattersonian, even though you left us to South Jersey to run a blueberry farm. There was also Nelson Ferreira, a friend of the governor, as you are, Tiff, who went to the governor all the time to help us. Our Mayor Andre Saya. Anytime the governor was here, you always pulled him aside about Brilla, about the charter school. Your care for the families and the children of Patterson is unbelievable. I'm ever indebted to you as well. And there were politicians such as Congressman Pascrell, State Senator Nellie Poe, Chairman John Curry, County Administrator Tony DeNovo, and so many others who fought for this charter. To the founding board of our school, Brilla, which I'm proud to be a member, I'm honored to work with Robert Garashi, Salis Cabral. Salis is here? Where is Salis? She's on our board. Soleil Anselmi. Maria Rodriguez is here. Thank you, Maria. Martin Vigera, Aaron Brenner. We're so honored to be able to build this school together. To our benefactors and our parishioners, I want to thank you for putting up with my insanity. I put up a building and didn't even know if we'd have permission to start a school. That's pretty crazy. Do you know how many sleepless nights I had looking at that building saying, "Oh my goodness, if we get rejected, what am I going to do?" Well, we had a plan B and a plan C. But to the cathedral trustees and staff, to the ministers, to the clergy, to the Cathedral Finance Council, chaired by Louis Modugno, to our pastoral council, and I see so many members here, I thank you all. And to Tony and Christy DiNicola and the Seton Educational Partners, who will run and operate our charter school with our founding board, I thank you for committing to Patterson. And I know you're watching from Texas and Florida. Friends, though, the real reason we're doing this is to honor the youth, the children of Patterson in a new way. And really, for people like a young girl named Grace Balta. 2000, I was running Young Prophets here in Patterson. One night after leaving on Grand Street, a huge fight broke out. Huge fight. 2 kids had to be rushed to the hospital. I was so upset. I said, kids, there's no more young prophets. I can't bring you to God if I can't keep you safe for an hour. And I said, there's no more program. Well, the next Thursday, I drove down from DePaul just to make sure the kids knew there wasn't going to be a program. I drive down Grand Street, and there's Grace Balta. She's sitting there all looking tough. I said, Grace, there's no more young prophets. I can't do it. And I'll never forget her words. She said, you're not going to leave me and the kids of Patterson like everybody else leaves us. She said, nope, we're back open for business. We're back open for business. We're opening Brilla, Patterson, for future children like Grace that know that we will never leave them, the children of Patterson, for it's meant to be. Amen.